Steadily. Maintain similar movement.
Attention! Supplementary power is being connected to operate some of our instruments. All Daleks not on patrol duties are to attend to their control panels.
We are ready to connect. Make connection. Lower cable. Turn on supplementary power.
We obey. When will our new master let us turn on our main power source?
First, we are to find out whether the race of Thals have radio contact with our enemies, the human beings on Earth.
Attention! Supplementary power is being fed into the scanner chamber. Machines, cables, and instruments have lain hidden for 50 years. Faults may develop and power leaks occur. In case of emergency, all security doors will be closed in compartments 1 to 17 on level 6.
Turn on power. Turn on scanner. Increase volume of sound.
And you see, Marion, I've been able to separate one of these black boxes.
Have you found out more about it?
Only that one half, this half, is the actual motivating power unit. What the other half is, I can't imagine. It must serve some purpose, but it clearly has nothing to do with power.
Professor, can I ask your advice?
Of course.
Ladiver's made a suggestion. He wants me to fire a flare to bring the Thals here to help us.
It sounds an excellent suggestion.
He says the Thals will have a radio. We can obviously get through to Earth.
But you're suspicious?
Anything Ladiver does or says is suspicious. I don't understand him at all. For all we know, firing a flare might be a signal to the Daleks.
Or he might be simply giving you a good idea.
Yes?
We could hardly be in a worse position. My advice is to fire the flare, Mr. Smith. The idea of radioing for help is too tempting.
All right. I'll do it.
Turn off scanner. We will intercept the Thals after the human beings have made their signal.
And force them to tell us where they have hidden their radio?
Yes. Then the human beings are at our mercy. We can destroy them whenever we like.
We must conserve the supplementary power.
Yes, but continue observation of the human beings at regular intervals.
I obey.
Follow me.
If you'd helped me instead of just sitting there, I'd have made it. We'd have both have made it. What happens? I get a drug bullet that knocks me out and gives me a sore head, and here we are both chained up again.
You talk too much.
But we could have got away.
And that's all you care about, isn't it? Never mind about what you do when you get away or where you go. Never mind everybody else.
It's a little late to start having a conscience about other people.
No sign of him.
Of course there isn't. I told you it was a mistake to trust Ladiver.
The Thals will come.
Yes, but it's an hour since I shot that flare.
And you had a reply.
We saw some flashing lights.
Yes, the sun reflecting on polished metal. I told you that the Thals would reply in that way.
You have told us yes, but do we have to believe you? Those flashes could have been made by the Daleks. Or perhaps you've got some other friends on Skaro, simply waiting for the right signals.
Look, Ladiver, tell us what we're up against. Was that suggestion about the flares really to let the Thals know we're here, or what?
That's all it was. And the Thals will be here.
All right.
And what does all right mean? That you're going to go on trusting him? That we're all in his hands?
There isn't any other way.
We could have made a diversion, and you could have made a run for it to the ship.
There are Daleks guarding the ship. We've seen them. Anyway, it takes a minimum of 2 to get a spacecraft off the ground.
Oh, what's the use? You've got an answer for everything.
How about a drink, Mr. Smith? That drug bullet didn't half dry up the old juices.
All right. Making any headway?
Some, my boy, some. That black box separates into 2 halves. This half is a mystery. This half in the power unit.
Do you know how it works?
Yes, it's very simple. It contains a compass. As you know, the needle of a compass is constantly trying to find north.
Yes.
But there's a metal stud which forces the needle back from north. So, as soon as the black box is fixed onto the Dalek, the needle is shaken. It flies to the north, the stud repels it, and it tries again. Something like a little clock. Tick-tock, tick-tock. As the needle swings backwards and forwards, it sets off a chain of interlocking wheels and tiny instruments, which all combine to produce static electric power.
The swinging of one needle can power a Dalek.
Well, you must remember that the real energy of a Dalek is already present inside it. It only needs a small impulse to set it going again.
Yes. But one little needle.
You mustn't think of power in terms of size, you know. A 50-shilling watch will tell you the time just as well as Big Ben.
If you say so. What about the other half?
I can't get it open. There's a ridge here, but it won't unscrew.
How about that drink?
I can't get the top off. Smith, how does this thing work?
What? Oh, it's a new design for all fluid containers these days. To guard against waste, they've made the tops with an opposite thread. It unscrews clockwise.
Oh, I see.
What?
Yes, it was a precaution.
How absurdly simple. Now, why didn't I think of that? What applies to your fluid container also applies to this. Thank you, Mr. Smith. I was so busy looking for something complicated that the easy solution didn't occur to me.
Have you opened it, Professor?
Of course, of course.
What is it?
A minute tape recorder.
Oh, well, we can have some music.
I doubt you'd enjoy the sound from this. This is the part that must be issuing orders to the Daleks.
Can you run it?
No, it won't be on any frequency we can understand. Of course, in your ship, I expect you have the instruments. We could slow the tape down and re-record. You want to find out who is actually behind this plot to bring the Daleks back to life again?
Not really. I think we all know that. No, I want to find out exactly what orders the Daleks were getting. Then maybe we could have done something about them.
Make Ladiver tell you.
I don't think he knows.
You're right, Mr. Smith, I don't.
Of course he knows.
No. How could he? Whoever's behind this murdered Bob Slater, and Ladiver was here with you and me all the time.
Furthermore, whoever did murder Slater must have known him well. He was killed with an injection of poison from a hypodermic. I found the puncture mark on his left wrist. A Dalek couldn't have done that. Not unless they'd held Slater down by force, and there were no bruises on his body. No, it had to be somebody Slater knew well, who could come right up to him and take him by surprise.
What sort of poison was it?
I've no idea. Not without a post-mortem. Incidentally, I've put his body in the crate in the shade, outside there. I expect you'll want to take the poor boy's body back to Earth.
Yes.
I agree with you about the tape. It's a great pity we can't find out what its message is.
I feel so helpless. Redway took the only 2 weapons which could stop the Daleks. Even with one of those, we might have put up some sort of fight.
Aren't the anaesthetic guns any good?
Not against Daleks. They wouldn't penetrate their metal casing.
Have we got anything we could make into bombs then?
Blimey, you're a bloodthirsty one, aren't you?
Nothing. We haven't even got any petrol.
And yet the Daleks don't attack us. What are they waiting for?
You tell us.
I'll tell you, Ladiver isn't to blame for all this.
Who is then?
Redway. It has to be him.
But that's ridiculous.
Is it? Who was away from here at the same time as Bob Slater? Redway and the Professor.
I hope you aren't accusing Professor Vanderlyn.
No, I'm not. I can see you're perfectly fit and healthy, sir, but it would take an athlete to unpack that crate of black boxes and issue them out to the Daleks. If you'd done that, if you were able to, you'd still have to dodge back to the city, meet up with Redway, and come back here with him.
Quite an exercise.
There's more that points to Redway. He is in an ideal position to destroy the communication system. He's perfectly placed to fly the spaceship into the meteorite storm, pretending it makes him alter course for Skaro.
But he was angry about you, so bitter.
He had to throw suspicion on somebody.
Why? Once he'd landed here, I mean.
Because of that crate of black boxes, that's why. He had to wait until they were brought out from the ship.
Yes, it has to be Redway. I can't explain it, and I don't understand it. I've known him for years.
Finally, he took the only 2 guns that can be used against Daleks.
Then why has he waited all this time? Why hasn't he sent the Daleks to kill us?
I don't know. Either he doesn't think we're important enough to worry about, or he wants us for something. The Thals. I told you they'd come.
Close the archways! Never mind me! Close the archways!
How? What do you mean?
There's a panel on the arches!
There's a Dalek! It's coming! It's coming!
It's no good being afraid of them. Why have they changed you up, Jonathan?
Do you know this man?
He is Commander Jonathan Ladiver.
He was.
What happened, Ejena? Did the Daleks fire at you?
We nearly got here without them seeing us, but then they caught sight of us and we had to run.
Can they follow the way you came?
No. We came across an overhead passage. Dexter destroyed it. It was the only explosive we had.
We're safe for a while anyway.
Why do they treat you like a common criminal, Jonathan?
You must release our friend. Whatever you believe about him, he is a good man.
He's under arrest.
I am Dexion, leader of the race of Thals. This is my sister Ejena. We will both speak for Jonathan Ladiver.
We must all fight against the Daleks. To have your best man chained up is very stupid.
I'm afraid I've led you both into a trap. This is why Redway waited, of course. He wanted the Thals to come here. He would know the Thals have a radio. He'd be sure somebody here would signal them in time, and he must have hoped to kidnap Dexion on the way here and hold him, threatening the other Thals with his death unless they destroyed the radio.
Is this man Redway the cause of the Daleks coming back to life again?
We think so, yes. Well, now you're here, we can expect the Daleks to attack in force.
Of course they will. Do you have guns? Something we can...
No.
You are badly prepared.
It isn't his fault. How were we to know this would happen?
There is always an explanation for mistakes. There is never an excuse.
You must make allowances, Ejena. These people have not lived in the shadow of the Daleks, as we have.
I am sorry, brother.
How do you know Mr. Ladiver?
He landed on Skaro 3 years ago, with the regular 5-yearly patrol from Earth.
I told him I was sure someone had landed secretly on Skaro in this area. None of the others believed me. He and I came here to search together.
We found some proof, but not enough to convince the others. Somebody had landed it, though, and my guess now is that it was to try out one of those black boxes on a Dalek to make sure it worked properly.
We can believe all that, Mr. Ladiver, but why did you become a criminal?
I didn't. When I went back to Earth, everybody as good as laughed in my face. Your generation, Professor. They wouldn't listen to me. Nobody would. It was too expensive to make a proper check, to have new patrols, to start up a thorough investigation. But I knew something was going to happen.
There must have been somebody who'd listened to you.
Do you think I didn't try? I wrote reports, I saw dozens of people, I talked and argued and begged and pleaded until finally doors were slammed in my face and I was threatened with a charge of insanity. People become fat and lazy after 50 years of peace, Professor. They become complacent, so much so that they begin to believe that the devil himself is a kindly old man who wouldn't hurt a fly. The politicians jabber about happiness for all and future progress, and the scientists quack about steady advancement, and everybody pats each other on the back and says how clever they are, and how wise to be keeping the peace so well.
You've no right to blame my generation because we haven't had a war in 50 years. What do you want us to do? Run around with guns and kill each other?
I'll tell you what I want, Professor. I want common sense. Peace is what we all look for, and work for, and die for if necessary. But when we have peace, you still have to work. Twice as hard, guarding and watching and maintaining. Well, Nobody listened to me. I just had to work on my ideas myself. So I left the space service. I built up a false identity as a criminal. It enabled me to make constant journeys in the Skara universe. This one was just another routine flight as far as I was concerned.
What would have happened when you landed on Earth? You were due for trial.
I'd have escaped. I still have 1 or 2 friends. And when there weren't any friends, well, Dexion gave me enough funds to bribe my way free.
Can you prove any of this?
His word is sufficient.
On Earth, Ejena, the human beings do not place very much trust in a man's word.
If I ever had come to trial, it would have been easy enough to prove I hadn't done any of the things I was supposed to have done.
Did Ladivar discuss any of this with you before he left?
He promised that if no one believed him, he would search himself. Of all Earth people, there is no one I would trust more than him. My sister is promised to him, if that means anything to you. It means everything to me.
All right, Commander. You're reinstated.
Thanks. You realize we'll have to stop Redway?
Yes. He's the key to all this.
Because the Daleks will obey him?
Yes. Professor, I'm sorry if I sounded off at you. Nothing personal in it. It's been a long 3 years.
It has been longer for me.
That's quite all right.
Dexion, is there any other way out of this place?
I do not know this way. This faces the desert, of course. But you can see a ramp there leading up to that overhead staircase.
The trouble is, if there's a Dalek guard out there...
And there was a short while ago. It was coming straight at me.
Well, it'll have that overhead staircase covered too.
But if you could reach that staircase, you'd have a good chance. It leads to several different corridors. It's the best chance to cut through the city, get out the other side and reach my people, who are waiting in the dead forest. They'll lead you to the radio.
Slime, what are you doing?
Keep back, all of you.
You'll let the Daleks in.
They'll listen to me. All I've got to do is tell them where the Thals are. In that dead forest, you said? Okay. Then the Daleks and me'll make one of the Thals say where this radio is. And I do them a favour, they'll do me one. And I'd rather live on Skaro than die on Earth.
Close that door, Slime.
After I'm through, mate, and free. You can close it then. And I'll give you regards to Redway.
We have him already.
Obey the Daleks!
Marion, get some water.
No time. Listen.
Never mind talking, just take it easy.
They sent me here. The Daleks want the radio, Smith. Don't give in to them. That's an order.
We were wrong. Redway wasn't the one controlling the Daleks.
They tried to make me tell. But I didn't know. Told them I didn't know. That they wouldn't believe me.
Redway, did you find out who's controlling the Daleks? Who started all this?
They want the 2 Tals who broke through to you. The leader and his sister. To force the position of the radio from them. I pretended... Smith, I fooled the Daleks. They think I'm going to persuade you to hand the Tals over.
It's all right, Skipper.
Don't hand them over. You mustn't.
We won't.
I was wrong about you, Ladivar. It wasn't you.
Who is it, Redway?
I found out. They hurt my head. They kept on and on.
Who is it, Redway? You must tell us.
Oh, leave him alone. You can see he's in agony.
He's got to tell us. He's got to.
I knew who it was. The only one it could have been.
Professor, have a look in the medical kit. Find something to ease his pain.
Be careful how you talk here. The Daleks can watch you, listen to you. They've already got some of their instruments working. Do you understand?
Yes. Just lie quietly.
They're planning to turn on their main power. Soon. Stop them!
Redway, you were telling us you'd found something.
Found out?
You'd found out who's behind all this. Who is it?
The guns. The 2 guns.
He's dead.
I'm sorry I wasn't in time to give him some comfort. I feel so helpless. If only we could fight.
I know. They tortured him.
They'll get all of us. All of us! We might as well give up.
The guns.
Yes, I was thinking that. What did Redway mean?
He must have been referring to the 2 armoured disintegrators he took with him. But why? What was it about them that made him know who our enemy is?
He was wrong about me. I was wrong about him. I was so sure, so certain. It just goes to show. He kept on accusing me. He made such a job of it. I was convinced he was laying a smokescreen to cover himself.
He was pretty keen on the space service, you know. He despised you for being what he called a renegade. It's a pity you didn't really know him. He was a good man.
Yes, Redway was a good man. I was just as mistaken about him as he was about me. That doesn't matter now. What does matter is that there's an enemy here. One of you.
Surely the important thing is to get that radio, Ladiver.
Of course it's important. But who do we send? I'm not going to go, because as soon as my back's turned, one of you is going to give me away to the Daleks. And who can we send? Dexion?
I'm perfectly fit.
Can you run and keep on running until you reach the dead forest? Because that's what it amounts to. Can you dodge and hide? Jump and climb?
Then I will go.
I'm forcing myself to put aside personal considerations. Our lives can't matter when we can save millions. But Ejena, you know you can't operate the radio, and that leaves one of you. But who do I choose? How can I trust any of you?
You'll have to go, Ladiver. I'll give Dexion and Ejena the needle guns. They can watch us all.
That is very sensible. I do not think that I will have to watch you.
Oh, yes, you will, Dexion. You must watch every single one of us. They have 20 rounds in each. Simply point them and press the trigger. Now you must go, Ladiver. You must.
My people will lead you to the radio. Travel safely.
This isn't goodbye.
I waited 3 years for you. To see you only for a few moments tells me I was not wrong to wait.
The light's beginning to go.
This will be a dangerous time. The Daleks must soon realize that we are not going to surrender to them. They'll come for us.
Can they get through the doors?
Given full power, of course. They could burn through them in a matter of minutes.
You realise that the last thing they want to do is fight? Not that we can put up much of a fight, I know. Those black boxes can't give them all that amount of power.
No, that's very true. I've been wondering why they haven't attacked us long ago and simply taken us away to be tortured, just as Redway was. Poor fellow. Either they haven't enough power...
Or the enemy that's here, the one of us, is he preventing the Daleks from attacking?
He or she. I'm under suspicion too, you know.
Not with me, you're not.
Or is there, I wonder, yet a third reason?
What?
We must assume that our enemy is a man. I know you prefer to see it that way, Mr. Smith.
I do.
This man declares his love, Dexion. I like him for that.
I like Mr. Smith.
You see, if our enemy is a man, he obviously plans to rule the universe from Skaro. All the universe, in fact.
Then he's mad.
Perhaps. But you must admit he has a lot on his side. The Daleks are superior creatures. In 6 months, given full power, they could mount a ferocious attack on Earth and our planetary system. We would be totally unprepared for it.
They could be ready in 6 months.
Perhaps less. A Dalek, you must remember, needs no rest. He is a brilliant scientist, soldier, and electronics engineer. He works 24 hours a day, every day. He has no personal ambition, except to see his race conquer and succeed in everything, and this is the race our enemy wants to command. But it is an alien race, so our enemy would not want to be alone. He must have plans to continue in power, and to create a family who could carry on where he left off when he dies of natural old age.
No woman would agree.
To rule beside her husband, my dear. To rule not just this sky, but every sky. To receive tribute from every planet. To become a queen of an empire that has no boundaries. To be the mother of sons who would also rule. I think many women might well choose such a role, especially if the alternative was torture and death.
Here, I thought it was getting warm round here suddenly. Here, this door's getting hot.
He's right. The Daleks are burning through.
They're trying to break in here too.
Can we follow Jonathan? Some of us might escape.
All right, let's try and make a run for it.
Do not move, any of you. He is dead, as you all will be if you do not obey. One of you, open the top doorway immediately. Now return to the others. Move. Remove them. Our master has ordered that they observe our full power source turned on.
Who is your master?
All of you will obey! You will obey! Stop! One of you is missing. Where is he?
Oh, he left ages ago. He'll be at the radio, warning Earth.
You are lying!
When the spaceships start burning your city to the ground, perhaps you believe me.
Silence! The Daleks are invincible! Move! The Daleks are invincible! These are the two female humans? Yes. They are to wait here. I obey.
Why are we being separated?
Silence.
What are they going to do with us?
You must face everything with indifference, however you feel. It's the only way.
I wish I were like you, Regina, but I'm not. I'm not used to them. You've grown up with them all around you. To me, they're nightmare creatures, loathsome, disgusting, and I'm afraid of them.
I am afraid too.
You?
Yes, but I won't let them see it. I shall try not to, at least. We have some hope. Jonathan is free.
Yes?
I hear the doubt in your voice. You are thinking he may be wounded or dead. I do not think of that. I dare not. You are luckier than I am.
I don't understand.
Your man is near to you, and alive.
Rocket Smith? He isn't my man.
He believes he is.
I haven't known him... I hardly know him at all.
I did not say you knew him. There is all your life to learn to know him. I knew I loved Jonathan very quickly after meeting him. I spoke to my father, who told Jonathan of my feelings.
Like that?
This is a custom of the race of Thals. Jonathan was amused. He had gone to my father to talk about me.
Our ways are different on Earth. I'm not saying they're better ways.
When you and your man look at each other, when you meet again, you will see that our ways are not so different.
Do you think we shall ever see them again?
While Jonathan is free, I always have hope, as I say. Tell me of the old man you called the Professor.
Yes.
Is he our enemy?
No, he couldn't be.
It was he who spoke of the Kingdom of the Skies. It was he who spoke of the King of the Daleks. The king who would want a woman to be his queen. There are two men from which to choose. Your man Smith, or the Professor.
But I've travelled with Professor Vanderlyn for nearly 2 years. I've worked side by side with him.
Then your suspicions point to the man Smith?
No.
You must choose between love and loyalty.
The two females are to be set apart from the males who are being fed and watered. The females are to be given food and drink, and also water in containers and pieces of fibre cloth. I shall order it. With the water in containers and the fibre cloth, you will both remove earth and dust from your faces and limbs. Understood?
Yes.
You will not be harmed if you behave correctly. The males will die instantly if you are troublesome. Move! All prisoners are to be brought to the control chamber on level 19 in 1 hour. I obey. Our master will talk to them then, and our full power will be connected. And our master has ordered that we begin to prepare for the invasion of the planet Earth!
I think they're coming round.
I told you they were only drugged.
Are you all right?
Yes. What is this place?
The Daleks are preparing to connect up their main source of power.
Oh, that's nice. Perhaps I'd make us some coffee. Not much of an after effect anyway. Just a bit muzzy.
I suppose it was in the water they gave us. I didn't eat anything.
It would have been in the water. I should have realized and warned you.
Well, if that hadn't worked, I suppose I'd have found another way. How are you feeling?
All right. Rather grim, this, though, isn't it?
It is frightening for you, of course. But for me, it is quite appalling to see the Daleks alive again. For generations, the Daleks hunted my people and did everything they could to destroy them. We lived in horror of them. Then there was the war, and it seemed the Daleks were defeated, finished forever. Now...
Courage, brother. Jonathan is still free.
Yes.
Everything is prepared. Let our master know that we are ready to connect the secret power. Our master will be here now to interview you.
I don't understand. Sline's dead, so is Redway, that only leaves...
Ladiver.
No.
You are wrong.
But who else could it be? There simply isn't anyone else.
Our master is coming!
Quite an impressive moment. I can see you're all surprised. I thought you'd have guessed, Rock, from Redway's hint about the guns. It was really the only mistake I made. Fortunately, Redway died before he could tell you properly. It wouldn't have mattered. I had everything I wanted by that time. The Daleks are very thorough, you know. We had you under observation. It was your remark about your people leading Ladiver to the radio set that gave me the clue. It never occurred to me all your people might know where it was. I thought that would be a secret known only to you and perhaps your sister. I must congratulate you, Dexian. You have a beautiful sister.
What about the radio?
Oh, I simply went to the Thals and they led me to it. I destroyed it and told them it wouldn't work. The iron filings trick again. Very simple, but effective.
Ladiver can repair it.
Not this time. I removed the filaments. I'm afraid our friend Ladiver won't get a very good reception from the Thals either. I told them he was behind all this business with the Daleks.
Master, are we to turn on the power now?
No. I will give the orders when I'm ready.
When you gloated over us.
Of course you all hate me. I quite understand.
I loathe and detest you.
You'll change. In time.
No.
No doubt Miss Clement speaks for both of you.
I have no interest.
Not in life?
If the life is with you, none.
Of course. Indifference is cultivated by the Thals, isn't it? How do you feel about your brother? Is he to live or die? How far does your...
Slater, you must see that what you're doing is monstrous. Inhuman.
You're threatening the lives of hundreds of thousands, millions.
I suppose you're going to say that I'm insane. That's the usual cry, isn't it? But I'm not mad. I simply had an ambition and the ability to make it come true.
An ambition to destroy the lives of innocent people? To plunge worlds into war? To unleash the Daleks against us? That's not ambition, Slater. That's the...
Ravings of a lunatic? Yes, I knew one of you would say that. Of course there will be a war, but I don't imagine it'll last very long. I don't want to destroy people. I have the power to, but, you know, really I'm a good influence. Without me, the Daleks would crush everybody and everything.
Without you, the Daleks would still be dormant. Powerless.
But they'd break out again one day. The Daleks deserve to be a superior race, you know. Only someone with more cunning than they have can rule them.
You, I suppose.
Yes, me. I found a way to make slaves of them. I can control them and curb them. That's a good thing, surely. Of course, you were quite right in some of the things you said, Professor. I listened to your words with great interest.
I don't know what you're talking about.
About ruling the skies, Professor. You were so eloquent. The king who must choose a woman to be his queen. It was almost poetic. But it was absolutely true. That was why I held the Daleks back. I didn't want to sacrifice either of the women.
You may have tricked the Daleks, but you can't...
You see, it's so difficult for you to accept that I've won, isn't it? I can do anything. Anything, Professor. Jaina will want her brother to live. Marion will want you to live, and perhaps Mr. Smith here too. I've watched that little romance blossoming between them with great interest. It's very useful to me. And in time, they'll see things my way. To rule every planet in every sky will become more and more attractive. Perhaps I shall need 2 queens. For such a large empire, 2 might not be too many. I'm afraid it will be rather unpleasant for the 3 men at first. I must prove to you that I mean everything I say. The Daleks have some really excellent ways of torturing human beings. They were very thorough with Redway.
Go away. Go away.
Don't speak like that! I am the master here.
Slater, tell me something. We found you in that crate.
Ah, yes.
I examined you myself. You were dead. You appeared to be.
After I'd issued out the black boxes to the Daleks, I simply injected myself. What you took to be death was only temporary suspension. A freezing of the heart, if you like. And I'm very grateful to you for putting that crate outside the archway. I was quite worried about getting out of that crate.
You destroyed the ship's communications.
Oh, yes. And when I found we were heading into a meteorite storm, I simply forgot to tell Redway. Very easy, really.
And the guns? What mistake did you make about them?
I'm the ship's armourer, Rock, you know that. Of course I had to put those guns out of action. I couldn't risk Redway or you blowing one of my Daleks to pieces. And I was the only person on board who could have put those guns out of action. Redway knew that. And he guessed it was me. Too late, of course. Suppose you could say I've been lucky. I prefer to believe that I've been brilliantly clever. Or would you put that down to the ravings of a lunatic too, Professor?
Heaven help you, Slater, but you are mad. Completely and utterly.
I'll show you how mad I am. Daleks! We will connect up the power! It's very interesting, you know. We defeat the Daleks 50 years ago, and we think we've dismantled everything. And yet, the Daleks have a secret generator, drawing power from the sun and storing it. For 50 years this has been going on. It's quite exceptionally brilliant, you know. Yes, they're brilliant. And they obey me. Do you all hear that? The Daleks obey me!
We are ready, Master.
Very well. This should interest you, Professor. Bring the power units.
I obey, Master.
Do you see these glass objects? Each one has the power of a sun. And the Daleks have had them in a secret store for 50 years. Can any one of you doubt who should rule the skies?
The Daleks are supreme.
And I am the master of the Daleks.
You are the Master.
Section 1, complete.
Prepare Section 2.
Is there nothing we can do?
Not until after the power is turned on.
Section 2, complete. Turn on Section 1.
You fool! Don't you realise what you're doing?
Section 4, complete. Turn on Section 3.
It's still not too late, Slater. Stop the process. I beg of you. Stop it.
Power reading. Section 5, complete.
Reading normal.
Turn on Section 4.
Reading normal. Attention! Temporary power failure to main supply. Power resumed. Reading normal.
Section 6, complete. Turn on Sections 5 and 6.
Last sections turned on.
Well, the moment's arrived, my friends.
You can't commit the worst crime in history, Slater. Think of what you're doing, man.
The worst crime in history. You have a rather colourful turn of phrase, Professor. Just for the record, what happens now is this. Those glass capsules you saw contain the power of suns, as I said. That power is now to be compressed and irradiated throughout the Dalek city. The Daleks, of course, will draw power from the floors, the walls, or their instruments. And the more they use, the greater the power becomes. That is the use they have made of static electricity. I really do admire them. Prepare for final operation.
Everything is ready, Master.
Flood main power.
All readings normal. All readings normal.
And now, Professor, in 5 seconds, full power will give the Daleks all their strength again. Through the floor. From now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's that noise?
Our own power repels your control, Earthman. You are no longer our master.
No! I am your master! Obey me!
We are the Daleks. No man is our master. We are the Daleks. No man is our master.
But I control you!
We allowed you to control us.
Keep away! Help me! Help me, someone! Turn off the power!
They cannot help you. No one can help you. You have served your purpose, Earthman. Now you shall die.
Get going. I told you to go.
For once, I do not do as you tell me.
Attention! Power failure! Emergency! The human prisoners are free!
Push those two ends together.
It won't fit, Jonathan! I've done it!
Turn on our power again.
The Daleks are finished.
Then we will wait. Earthman, tell your people on Earth that the Daleks are waiting. One day we will rise again. One day. One day. One day. One.
It's over.
For us, Jonathan, it is just the beginning.
All right, I came to help you.
The others are safe. Dexian's leading them out.
Tell them the Daleks are finished.
Are they? Marvellous! We'll all tell them.
Go away, Rock.
Go away?
I waited 3 years for this moment.
What, beating the Daleks, you mean?
No, that's not what I mean.
What do you mean? Oh, I see. Ah, well then. That's rather good. Yes. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all.